DLC for Pokemon Legends ZA has been announced. The mythical Pokemon Hoopa is opening dimensional portals and unleashing new Mega Evolutions. And the latest trailer showed us a lot of really cool things, but I still think there's so much that Game Freak is hiding. In this video, I'm gonna break down and predict every single thing we could realistically see in this new DLC for Legends ZA. New Megas, returning characters, legendary battles, and there's even evidence for a free post-DLC epilogue story. What's going on, everyone? It's Dusty Go-Goat. Welcome back to my headcanon. All right, so first up is obviously the new Mega Evolutions, and lucky for us, we actually have a list of returning Pokemon in brand new Mega Evolutions. But because this game is specifically called Mega Dimension, I want to think about this a little bit differently. I believe the Mega Evolutions that we're going to be seeing in this DLC will represent a dimension somewhere between Z and A. Every single Mega Evolution is only one possible version of what this Pokemon's true potential is. Pokemon like Charizard, Mewtwo, and now Raichu have both X and Y Mega forms. I want to propose that these letters correspond to a specific dimensional timeline. And that means all of these wacky new Mega Evolutions could be from different dimensions. And this isn't even that crazy. We got 26 new Mega Evolutions in the base game. This game is called Z2A, and there's 26 letters in an alphabet. I don't think it's an accident. And the most interesting Pokemon on this list is Absol, Lucario, and Garchomp, the Pokemon that already have an existing Mega Evolution. And the big mystery is that these Pokemon do not have a letter that correspond with these designs. Are each of them going to be Mega Z, or could we see something way goofier like Mega Garchomp W, and it gains a water type? Mega Absol F, it gains a fairy type. So if each new Mega Evolution represents its own dimension, and there's any number of dimensions between Z to A, each of the dimensions that Hoopa gives us access to could be themed around the Pokemon that defines it, giving us access to versions of Lumio City that are shaped by that Mega's energy. Alright, with all that set up, let's review every single Mega Evolution that is confirmed to be in this DLC. We got the reveal of Mega Baxcalibur and Chimecho in the latest trailer, which perfectly lines up with this data mined list. Let's start with Staraptor. But first, I gotta tell you about today's sponsor, Arena Club. Arena Club's slab packs let you expand your collection instantly with real graded cards you can see, trade, or ship right to you, where your cards actually exist. They're authenticated, protected, and beautifully displayed. Check out this cool Entei that I pulled. Give me some gold and silver. Yes, dude. Oh my god, we got Entei V. That's gorgeous. I've been collecting Pokemon cards for literally as long as I can remember. The earliest memory might be ripping a Neo era pack at a local mall before going to the movies, but I gotta be honest with you, most of these cards from my childhood, I have no idea where they ended up. They're gone, and the cards I still have are boxed up in storage somewhere. And what I've realized is the beauty of Arena Club is that I can actually see my collection anytime. And that's the whole point of collecting, enjoying what you've built. For anyone who collects or wants to get into it, Arena Club just makes collecting feel simple, modern, and organized. You can browse new slab packs starting at 25 bucks, and you always know exactly what's inside each drop thanks to their transparent checklists. You can sell, trade, or even accept an instant market value offer for your cards right there on the platform. Right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/DustyGoGoat and using code DustyGoGoat. I've been collecting cards the old-fashioned way for too long. Arena Club is like stepping into another dimension for collectors. Links are in the description and in the pinned comment. Thank you so much to Arena Club for sponsoring this video. Staraptor is a tough bird of prey, and when it first debuted, it honestly felt like close combat was one of its signature moves. It's because of this that I think Mega Staraptor is going to become flying and fighting type, which will also help differentiate it from Mega Pidgeot. Both male and female Meowstic, I believe, are going to get the Pyroar treatment and share a Mega Evolution that incorporates both aspects of their designs. I think they're going to remain a psychic type, but it would be cool if we got to see a character like Emma actually utilize this Pokemon, maybe evolving Mimi. Mega Golurk is on this list, and I think it has a really unique typing already, being ground and ghost type. I think this Pokemon can do a lot of really cool things. In its concept art, we see Mega Golurk has the possibility to transform its body to become more power of either a rocket or a cannon, and I think these aspects are definitely going to be present in this Pokemon's design. Golurk also has this brace on its chest, which seems to me like it contains its true hidden power. I guarantee this brace will break, allowing Golurk to achieve its final potential. Crabominable is also going to be receiving a Mega Evolution, and I think this one has a lot of potential. Mega Evolutions often call back to the previous stages in the evolutionary line, so this Pokemon will regain some visual elements from its previous stage, Crabrawler, and maybe become a fan favorite. It also has the same blonde hair as Ivor, so maybe Ivor is going to pick up a new ace. Golisopod is slated to get a new Mega Evolution. It's a bug and water type. If this thing is supposed to be a Ronin, I imagine it's going to get bigger claws. It's going to be fun to use in battle. I think it's so cool that Absol, Garchomp, and Lucario are going to be receiving new Mega Evolutions. And what I'm interested in these Pokemon doing the most is developing in a way that contrasts with their base designs. Absol is based on the concept of yin and yang, true balance. I think we could very well see a very natural color swap with this Pokemon where the primary color becomes black and the accent colors are now white. This Pokemon would still be in balance, but with a different disposition. I could see this Mega Absol Z getting either an additional normal type or fairy type. Garchomp is an interesting one. Base Garchomp is ground and dragon type based on a land shark. I think it's very possible for a second Mega Garchomp to become dragon and water type, calling back to its ancient aquatic lifestyle. However, base Garchomp also flies, weirdly enough, so I could also see this Pokemon becoming dragon and flying type. And maybe the most interesting is the Aura Pokemon Lucario. A brand new Mega Lucario could shed its steel type for instead something that more closely reflects its aura, and to me that reads as a ghost, fairy, or psychic typing. Alternatively, I could see Lucario getting a ground and fighting type, the ground type reflecting the fact that it's based on Anubis and all of those Bone Rush attacks that it has in its arsenal. Regardless, this new Lucario is going to be a fan favorite. I really hope these new Mega Evolutions are called Z-Forms. And I'll talk about all these new Mega Legendaries at the end. Scovillain and Glamora are also on this list. I don't even know what to say. Scovillain's been a favorite of mine since it dropped, and whatever they do with this Pokemon is going to feel really, really deserved. It already has a fire and grass type. I want to see more heads on this Pokemon. I think all I want is Mega Scovillain to become more draconic, to see it become a multi-headed pepper dragon Pokemon. Like that would just be insane. And Glamora being a rock and poison type, having a lot of ties to Terapagos, and even resembling a crystalline flower. I hope whatever the design is, it adds to the lore of Paldea. And we also have Tatsugiri. Each of the Tatsugiri forms are also receiving Mega Evolutions. These Pokemon are either going to receive one Mega Evolution form that reflects all of their designs in a single form, or each of these Tatsugiri will receive a separate Mega Evolution design. And how cool would it be if we saw Tatsugiri X, Y, and Z. I mean, I'm just happy that it's a Generation 9 Pokemon, but this would be an excellent way to exemplify all of these different Mega Dimensions. Tatsugiri would literally become the representation of the Mega Dimension and how Hoopa's magic even works. And what they look like, I have no idea. But I think Dragon and Water type's a pretty good combo. And we've got a couple legendary and mythical Pokemon here. First up is Heatran. Mega Heatran is going to be a real thing, and it seems kind of strange to be in the Kalos region, but if you consider that Volcanion exists and is a mythical of this region, I could see there being some sort of clash between these two beasts. Heatran is this lava frog that is shackled by steel chains and armor. In its mega form, Heatran would erupt and possibly even lose the steel type altogether. I don't know if that would be good competitively, but I could see this thing becoming the embodiment of lava, being freed and unshackled in its mega form. Darkrai is another really cool Mega Evolution that we're going to be receiving in this DLC, and on the surface, this seems kind of weird. Darkrai is a legendary Pokemon that lives in the dream world. It feasts off of people's dreams and nightmares. In Generation 5, we got introduced to the Pokemon Dream World. This is how a lot of Pokemon used to get hidden abilities, and I think playing through this new game, Mega Dimension, one of these dimensions that we could see is the Dream Dimension. And this could be how we end up seeing Darkrai in its final form. Magearna is a Generation 7 Pokemon, but it is canonically from the Kalos region. And I think this Pokemon's going to get the Deontay treatment with its Mega Evolution, just becoming more extravagant. But it would be cool if the Pokeball pattern in its design could develop into something a little bit more rare and extravagant, like a luxury ball. Finally is Zeraora. I think a lot of fans are expecting to see Zeraora, the electric type Pokemon, gain a new fighting type to represent how brutal its offenses are. And here's the thing, this list of Mega Pokemon were ripped from the data of this game, but I think it is entirely possible, and truthfully, I'm expecting Game Freak to debut brand new designs and Mega Evolutions in the online ranked battles. After we play the DLC and collect all of these Pokemon, I still think there's a possibility that we could receive even more Pokemon in the future. We know that the Legendary Swords of Justice are coming back into DLC. Could we see them receive new Mega Evolutions in ranked tournaments? And this might be the final opportunity for all of the Kalos Pokemon that don't have a Mega Evolution to actually receive a Mega Evolution. All of these new Mega Evolutions are really exciting, but we still have a lot of returning Mega Evolutions, even some Legendary Megas that are going to be in this game. We have the Mega Hoenn starters, and I think these starter Pokemon will likely be available the same way we get a lot of these other Pokemon. But I do think it'd be pretty cool if we saw a returning character, Professor Sycamore. Professor Sycamore is mentioned in the base game. It is said that he left Lumiose City, and that seems kind of suspicious, so I'm hoping he does make a return and gifts us these rare Pokemon. We've got Mega Latios, Mega Latias, Mega Rayquaza, and the two Primal Evolution Pokemon, Kyogre and Groudon. I think these 3 box legendary Pokemon would be great candidates for specific locations that we could travel to through these Mega Dimension portals. Just like how we access so many other legendary Pokemon in the Ultra Space wormholes, and even Hoopa's portals within Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. If I make the correct donut with Hoopa, I think some of these Mega Pokemon deserve a special area for us to access that is themed around them specifically. And honestly, that goes for all of these legendary Pokemon. I want to fight these Pokemon as rogue mega battles. The Deontay questline was cute, but a lot of these legendaries are behemoths. I want to fight them. I want to take down Groudon, just as I did in Pokemon Ruby. And so let's talk about Hyperspace Lumiose a little bit more. I'm imagining Hyperspace Lumiose, every time we go into it, that different aspects of this Twilight space will change. As we play through the base game of Legends ZA, we watch Lumiose Tower, and honestly, the entirety of Lumiose City undergo changes throughout the whole play session. And I think it'd be a missed opportunity if, when we go into Hyperspace Lumiose, we don't see different versions of Lumiose City that we have now lost access to. And I am specifically thinking about Lumiose Tower. When I'm taking pictures with my shiny Steelix, after beating the game, I currently can no longer snap a pic of the original Lumiose Tower. And what about AZ? After beating the game, I know this man's fate, but I've got a feeling that he's going to make a return in the DLC. I think these alternate dimensions can show us different realities. Can we see a version of Lumiose City where Ange Floette remains on the tower? I mean, that's just a fun extra gameplay mechanic where every time you open up Hyperspace Lumiose, you're excited to see which version of the city that you're going to see. And so I've mentioned it a couple times in this video, but I do think that there's a lot of returning trainers from around Kalos that could make their way and really debut in this DLC. Because all we really know about this DLC is the Mega Dimension gameplay mechanic, but I'm pretty confident new quest lines can pop up and be accessible in the base game in the real Lumiose City. Maybe these new Mega Dimension portals within Lumiose are catching the attention of gym leaders and Elite Four members across the Kalos region, and some of those people actually make their way into the city and then are accessible to battle through the Infinite Royale. And I also think a lot of these Elite Four members could end up with some of these new Mega Evolutions. We've already seen Karina, and I know she's going to have this new Lucario. Viola could have Golisopod, Ramos could have Scovillain, Clement could have Raichu Y. You're telling me Mega Crabominable wasn't created for Wolfric? And we've got all these Elite Four members. Diantha could make a return, but I really especially want to see Malva. She's the Fire type Elite Four member, and she's always been part of Team Flare. What's she been up to this whole game? And why is no one talking about Looker? Oh, I guess it's probably because everyone's looking at Emma. We're doing space-time distortion, Mega Dimension travel shenanigans. Looker will be back in this DLC. I mentioned Sycamore returning. I think there's an opportunity for us to see alternate versions of some of the characters that are in the base game of ZA. Someone like L. What would happen if he was still Lysander and never had a change of heart? What if he was never affected by the ultimate weapon and still possessed by greed? I would love to see any of the rivals or protagonists from the original Pokemon X and Y games. Lita is very obviously Tierno's sister, but I want to see Trevor. I want to see Shauna. It would be awesome to battle Serena or Callum. And I think the number one character to make a return in this Mega Dimension DLC is none other than Volo. Shout out to my friend Jake for putting this idea, this worm in my mind. In the Lumio City Museum, I think Game Freak is pretty heavy-handed with their teasing of a Volo return. We've got new Mega Pokemon growing beyond level 100. Volo presented one of the most challenging battles of any Pokemon game, and that was quite literally in the last Legends title. In this Legends title, Volo will make a return. He has infamous dialogue suggesting that he will make a return one day, and I guarantee he's coming back in this DLC. Maybe he doesn't have Giratina, but instead he's wielding a Mega Heatran, a Mega Darkrai, Mega Rayquaza. Volo is coming back and he's going to be an absolute menace. I'm expecting a post-DLC epilogue. This would be free content for people who purchased Legends ZA. Remember, Legends ZA is a Generation 9 game, and in the last Generation 9 game, Scarlet and Violet, a few months after DLC concluded, we received the Pecharunt epilogue. And I want to propose an idea that the Legends ZA epilogue will give us access to Mega Volcanion. I'll say Volcanion at the very least. This entire game begins with our main character traveling to Lumio City on a train. And I don't know if you know, but you can actually go back to that train, and there's basically a whole cutscene that ensues. But the perfect way to end this story would be to return to that train station, but instead of going back to where we came from, we travel south to the unexplored southern Kalos and discover the home of Volcanion. Just like in X and Y, data for Volcanion exists in the base game of Legends ZA. A decade ago, Pokemon X and Y left us with so many unanswered mysteries. We've received Diancie, we've received Hoopa, we've received Eternal Flower Floette, and if Legends ZA really is our Kalos remake, then please, Game Freak, give us the ability to explore and discover, to answer one of the biggest mysteries of the Kalos region. Let us go to Southern Kalos and claim this mythical Pokemon. I've been having so much fun with Legends ZA. I think we really might be surprised with what comes out of this Mega Dimension DLC. Subscribe for more speculation videos and consider joining me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member if you want to directly support this channel. I want to take a minute to thank all of our YouTube channel members and Patreon supporters. You guys have been showing up over the last month, and it does not go unnoticed. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. We've built so much momentum on the channel this month. There's 18 of you at the time of recording, and a big shout out to Hardcore Casual Jazzy, who supports at our second tier. I've been trying a lot of new things on this channel, so thank you so much for supporting and backing me and making all of this possible. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think I got wrong.